Hello, YouTube world. Thanks for checking in the Khaliis take. I'm glad you was able to stop by where you hear the real take on the NBA. Now, please like, subscribe, leave any comments. Also, hit the notification bell for any future content so you can get it first. And please check out my other videos as well. I think you'll find the content to be intriguing. And leave any comments on those videos as well. I hope you enjoy the one I'm about to give you now. I'm going to tell you why nobody or no one takes the Utah Jazz seriously. Well, I will say this. I mean, I know there's some analysts, some fans out there that do take them seriously. I mean, because you're looking at their record speaks for itself. I mean, they're number one in the league right now overall, just by the way they're playing and everything like that. And you look at the way the team is constructed, they have good pieces in all phases, small forward, they got, I think they got, Bogdanovich, and then they got Derek Favors, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and they got, Rudy Gobert, all these players. And, Donovan Mitchell doesn't get the credit he deserves because he's just on a team where I think a lot of people just overlook and don't really pay attention to because they're in a small marketplace. And they're way up there in Utah. When you think of Utah, you mainly think of the mountains. So what I think of when I think of the mountains, I think of more, just a place to vacation or something like that, sit in front of a fireplace and have a glass of wine maybe, or, something like that. That's what I think of when I think of the mountains. So it's not a place like a big market like a Florida or California or something like that. But I think the main reason why most people, or should I say a lot out there, don't take Utah Jazz seriously is more so mainly because of, just the team in general. And they haven't done this in the playoffs. So until they do this in the playoffs or play like this type of caliber basketball in the playoffs, they won't really get the respect they deserve. I mean, because no matter how much or how long they've had the one seed this whole season, and people are still saying Lakers, Clippers, Nets, 76ers, and so on. You know what I'm saying? And I hate the fact that they're getting disrespected the way they are, because they are playing some high level basketball. But at the same time, I'm on the fence with it because I sit there and look at the team and I see how they match up against the better teams, and they don't match up really well. I mean, against the Clippers, yeah, they beat the Clippers twice. I'll give them that. But at the same time, do you really think they could beat the Clippers in a 7-game series if the Clippers are mentally right, not having anxiety issues and all that stuff that Paul George was talking about last year in the playoffs? If there's no bubble and they're actually playing in a regular playoff game, do you really think they could beat the Clippers? I don't think so. Can they beat the Lakers if they're healthy? I don't think so. I'm not even sure if they can beat Portland in a 7-game series if Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers are healthy, because everybody has to realize also when it comes to Portland, there is no CJ McCollum, and Nurkic has been out as well. So, I mean, really they're an injured team and they're still like ranked 4th in the West, which is very impressive. That's why I think Damian Lillard's in the MVP conversation. I also think, Donovan Mitchell should be mentioned in the MVP conversation as well. But that's my point. When you look at this team, I mean, where do you see a team that can dominate, the league? When I look at the Utah Jazz, and I feel like the one reason why no one takes them serious is because you look at this team and how they're constructed in this way only. One of their best players on the team is Rudy Gobert. And I've been on record by saying before, Rudy Gobert to me is a overrated type player. I mean, I think Rudy Gobert this year, I think he's averaging 13.9 points a game with 13.5 rebounds a game. And I just don't see how that is going to get them over the top. And personally, I think Utah was really crazy and dumb for signing Rudy Gobert to a max contract. Like, Rudy Gobert is not even worth half the money he got. I mean, when I sit and think about Rudy Gobert, I mean, I don't even consider him up there with the Embiids and, let's see, AD. I just don't consider him up there with those type players. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I consider him maybe a little bit, I'm not even sure if I should say this, but I consider him maybe a little bit of a better version of what DeAndre Jordan used to be. And, when he was on the Clippers back in the day, when they had Lob City and Blake and all them, yeah, I kind of feel like he's a little bit more a tad bit better than what DeAndre Jordan was when he was on the Clippers back in the day. And to me, that's not a max type player. To me, if you want to sign him for, 4 year, 60 million, 70, yeah, something like that, cool. But I mean, Utah damn near broke the bank for this dude, and I just really think that was just a waste of time for them. And I mean, I know big men come far few in between in this league. Don't get me wrong, I understand that, because it's just not often you find a big man that you trust and that you really want to implement and put into your team rotation, that you really want to kind of build around as well. So I understand Utah doing that, but I'm going to say this: Rudy Gobert only got the max contract he got from Utah because he's in Utah. Because if he was anywhere else, he probably wouldn't have got that, because no other team really sees him being a factor like that. Yeah, he blocks some shots here and there. Not saying, he doesn't play his position pretty well, because he does. I'm not going to, discredit him to that nature, but I'm going to say this: like, you cannot sit here and act like, he is a top player in the league, because I don't even know if he's a top 20 player in the league. So him getting that type money, I just I don't know. It's just sometimes these teams, they just go overboard, and because they have nobody else to give the money to. It's almost like a few years ago when Mike Conley was on the I think the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, they gave him like 150 mil, I think. What I'm saying, max type contract. And I didn't think Mike Conley was worth 150 mil. But I will say this: over time, I've seen that Mike Conley has been really, really valuable. And I've seen his value to a team, and I've seen what he really can do, and how hard he plays and stuff like that. So he gets a pass with me. I mean, I'm okay with that now. But I mean, Rudy Gobert, I'm still not sold on him. If your big man is giving you 13 and 13 a game, that's not good enough to win a championship. Not when you're looking at somebody like Embiid, who can give me 25 and 13 a game. Not when I'm looking at somebody like Anthony Davis, who can give me 25 and 13 a game. This is what I'm saying. I think what they have is not good enough for success in the playoffs. I think it's good now because you got a couple of hot players, and Donovan Mitchell's playing really good. He's averaging 24 points and a half. 24 and a half points a game. He's playing really good. Bogdanovich is definitely a marksman type shooter. So I think he's averaging like 15.3 a game. But their biggest reason for their success, I think a lot of people are really not looking at, to me, has been Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson's coming off the bench averaging like 18 points a game. I seen one game a few weeks ago where he dropped like 40 points in the game, and I said that's unreal. But at the same time, when you have a player of that caliber, coming off the bench, that really, really resonates as, okay, we could really be a good team. We could really go out here and make some noise, because now we have a bench to back up our starters. And it really makes them a balanced team. And I give them that. They do have a lot of balance with Jordan Clarkson. But my thing is Jordan Clarkson going to play that way in the playoffs? Is he going to play that way in a 7-game series? Is he going to play that way when it comes to real competition? Because in a 7-game series in the playoffs, that's what we consider real competition. And there's no shorting. There's no sliding. There's none of that. You have to be all in. And you have to go out there and make it happen. And the one thing I see with this team is, they can do a lot of good things. But at the same time, what I'm seeing overall from this team, when it comes to the major teams, they're going to have issues. Like when you played the Clippers the other night, yeah, you beat them twice, this and that. Yeah, you did. But I mean, the first time you beat them, they probably didn't take Utah serious. And then the second time you beat them without, I think, Kawhi Leonard or Paul George or something like that. So, I mean, I don't know. Those two games are kind of like a myth to me. They're kind of like, well, okay, yeah, they did pretty good, but when it came down to it this last game, we saw exactly what happened. Kawhi Leonard terminated the Utah Jazz pretty much. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't even think Paul George scored that many points. I think he had like 15 or 20 or something like that. But, Kawhi Leonard, I think he had like 27, 28. You know what I'm saying? He just pretty much, turned on Terminator mode, and turned into Arnold Schwarzenegger and went out there and just started shooting people like Kawhi does. And shout out to Kawhi Leonard, he don't get enough credit for how great he is also. But at the same time, he's a 2-time champion. So he don't need really to discuss anything about him, because his resume speaks for itself. Now, back to the Utah Jazz. When I sit there and think about this team in its entirety, like I said, I like the pieces they have. I like Bogdanovich. I like Mike Conley. Mike Conley's averaging 16.4 a game. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, doing his thing there. I think Mike Conley could average a few more assists. I think Mike Conley should be averaging like 7 or 8 assists a game, but he's averaging like 5.6, which is not bad. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely pretty good, solid numbers for a point guard in this league. But I definitely wouldn't put him as a top, 5-point guard. Well, maybe I would. I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to say, but I don't know. He's up there, but he's definitely playing solid for them too. And but like I said, overall, I think their biggest issue is just going to be, what Rudy Gobert brings to the table and provides in the playoffs. Because if he's not bringing, let's just say, if he's not giving me 19 and 14 in the playoffs on average, they don't have a chance to beat any of the top teams. The 13 and 13 that he's giving you now is garbage. Because, first of all, like I said, they're just feeding off the energy of what Donovan Mitchell is becoming. He's becoming more and more of a superstar every time we see him. The man is on another planet balling, I'll give him that. And then, like I said, Jordan Clarkson's on another planet too. So, when you look at those two players and how they approach the game and how they come out and how they play and how they attack every defense, it gives Rudy Gobert a pass offensively because they don't really expect much out of him offensively anyways. If he can give them 2 blocks a game, 3 blocks a game, with his 13 rebounds and, get some putbacks or some garbage baskets that nobody wants, then it's like, oh, okay, well, okay, we'll take it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if that's all you're getting out of your big man, that's not going to be good enough in the playoffs. Because what's he going to do when he plays somebody like Anthony Davis in the playoffs and the Lakers? What if they draw the Lakers in the playoffs, like second round or something like that? What happens then? Because if you're not scoring with Anthony Davis, the Lakers are going to beat them pretty easily. So if Anthony Davis is giving me 25 and 12 and in this guy right here, Rudy Gobert, is giving me 13 and 13. Well, who do you think gonna win that series? The Lakers probably gonna win that series. And then in the playoffs, if you play like the Clippers, well, the Clippers actually got a good backup in Zubac coming off the bench who can give them 12, 13 points a game on average once they put him in the rotation even more once he, gets fully healthy and everything like that, which I think he's back, feeling pretty good now. He had a little minor injuries from what I heard. I'm not sure too sure about that. But even still, then they got Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka's still a really good big man in the paint. And last time I checked, Serge Ibaka can knock down a 3. So with Serge Ibaka's shooting ability, Rudy Gobert is going to have to go out on the 3-point line on an island where he doesn't belong, and he's going to have to try to guard Serge Ibaka. And Serge Ibaka, he can't get around somebody like Rudy Gobert. And getting around him and getting to the paint, he's scoring. Plus, Serge Ibaka has a mid-range too, so it's like, to me, he's just so overmatched and so overwhelmed by these other big men. It's like Rudy Gobert doesn't even fit in the league. I think Rudy Gobert would be an MVP caliber type player if he was in the G League. I think if Rudy Gobert went to the G League, he'd probably have 4 or 5 championships there because I think he would dominate a lot more because these big name players and these big games that they're having, he just doesn't fit. Okay, like let's hypothetically say the Utah Jazz made it to the finals somehow. Okay, if they did, what is he going to do with Kevin Durant? What's he going to do with DeAndre Jordan in the paint? DeAndre Jordan can definitely out-rebound him, definitely stronger, even though he's older. Then, let's say, what would he do if they played in the finals against the Philadelphia 76ers? What is he going to do with Embiid? He has no chance against Embiid. Embiid would look at that as dinner time. He would feast on the fact of knowing that Rudy Gobert is going against him because, first of all, Embiid probably doesn't even respect Rudy Gobert. Not on that level. And nobody should because he's not on that level. He's not what we consider our top big men in the league, and he's not the face, of the league by any chance, and he's not anybody that nobody really even pays attention to. Because when you think of Utah Jazz, I think of Donovan Mitchell. I think of Mike Conley. I think of Jordan Clarkson before I think of him. So it's like, if your big man is one of your highest paid players, but he's your weakest link offensively, then you're going to have problems in a 7-game series. Because 7-game series, it comes down to defense, but it also comes down to putting the ball in the basket as well. And if you don't have that balance, it's going to be tough. And Donovan Mitchell and all them, Jordan Clarkson, they could be a little bit tired out by then. I mean, because last year in the playoffs, if you want to go by what have you done for me lately, Utah went out the first round. You know what I'm saying? So regardless, I mean, and they still had Rudy Gobert. You know, they had Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell was a superstar. He was playing superstar, put up superstar numbers last year. You know, so, but that's what I'm saying. Like, unless Jordan Clarkson plays out of his mind in the playoffs, Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell, it doesn't matter. They will get beat by the premier teams because they just don't have what the premier teams have. And that's more experience and a better handle on the playoffs as far as how they're going to play, what their rotations are going to be. And they have defenders that can stop a lot of what Utah does. Because you look at this last game against the Clippers. I mean, you know, Jordan Clarkson didn't drop big numbers that game. You know, he didn't drop like a 30 or 40, you know. Now Donovan Mitchell got hot at the end, but the game was pretty much really over with then, you know what I'm saying? So, I know Utah put up a good fight and everything like that, but beating the Clippers in a 7-game series, it would be tougher than what people probably would make it out to be. So I'm not really sold on that either. But hey, like I said, I'll give Utah credit. Utah's been a good team up until this point. They have shown that they're really, really resilient, shown that they have a lot of heart and they go out there and play hard every night and they're really having fun, you know, and I appreciate that about the team and everything like that. But I just don't see them taking out the premier major teams. Because when it comes down to it, like I said, if you got to face LeBron James in the 7-game series, Donovan Mitchell better drop 30 points every game, because if he doesn't, they're definitely going to lose, because LeBron James is going to control the game from a different aspect with his passing, getting everybody involved, with the likes of AD killing Gobert all night long. And then LeBron James is going to get his, 25, 8, and 8. You know, usually when LeBron has 25, 8, and 8, or if he's averaging 25, 8, and 8 in a 7-game series, usually his teams always win. So it's going to be too tough. And then, like I said, the Clippers have gotten better from last year with the Nicholas Batum and Serge Ibaka pickup. That's really been huge for them. Now you got Nicholas Batum in the corner just sitting up there, snipering people, shooting from 3, shooting at a pretty good percentage. And like I said, they're moving the ball. They're sharing the ball a lot better. And the Clippers are only going to get better as the season goes along, because Ty Lue has really got this team playing really good. And a lot of people are not recognizing it. And if Paul George plays the way he's supposed to, which I do believe he will play a lot better this playoffs, hopefully anyway, there's no reason why the Clippers wouldn't beat this team easily. Because, I mean, on top of that, we all know Kawhi Leonard, we know we're getting out of this dude. This dude in the playoffs, up until last year, that game 7, really, Kawhi has been flawless in the playoffs pretty much his whole damn career. So my thing is this: if you go against the likes of Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers, you're not going to beat them, because Kawhi is going to kill Donovan Mitchell. He's going to kill Elijah Hughes, little players like that. I will say Joe Ingles. I do like Joe Ingles. I will say that I do like Joe Ingles. He does play pretty good. He's a pretty good knockdown shooter himself. I gotta give him some credit on the team too. But he would be more or less the one probably trying to guard Kawhi Leonard, and I just don't think that's going to be a good recipe for success, because Kawhi Leonard will drop 30 points on his head any night, and it doesn't even matter if Kawhi Leonard has a leg contusion or anything like that. He'll still drop 30 points on Joe Ingles, because first of all, Joe Ingles, it's almost like he got 2 left feet sometimes when I watch him play, at times anyway. So if you have 2 left feet with Kawhi Leonard, first of all, the mid-range, he gonna shoot it right in your face, and he gonna put it straight down the middle target of your forehead and put the bullet right through it. Instant kill. That's Kawhi Leonard. It's not even a question. So he already killed Joe Ingles plenty of times. So, he definitely doesn't mind doing it again. Derek Favors, that'd be a bad matchup against Kawhi too, because Kawhi Leonard definitely killed him many times. I don't even know how Derek Favors is even still alive after Kawhi has just dropped 30 on his head several times. You can go back and check. Other teams that Derek Favors has been on, Kawhi was on the Spurs, and, Derek Favors that's just one of those people he loved to see, because, he basically rapes the guy every time he sees season. So, like I said, there's nobody there that can guard Kawhi Leonard. So that's an easy 30 points. And, hey, it would just be too easy for them, I think. I mean, I'm not gonna say easy. I think it would go 6 games. If they played the Clippers, the Clippers would win the series 4-2 against Utah. I think if they played the Lakers, same thing, 4-2. But at the same time, like I said, I just don't see this team really actually propelling to that next level. I think maybe next year or the year after, I think that's when we'll really see the best out of Utah. Because, I mean, it'll be different in the West, probably next year. You know how the NBA makes a lot of trades and stuff like that. And then there'll be another season that Utah has been together where they went through maybe some adversity again. And, they really figured out who they really are and what they can do. And then you got to understand Donovan Mitchell will be a year better and a year more experienced than what he is now. So, I mean, it all can, make a difference. And like I said, I think they'll be more of a serious type team next year rather than this year. Because like I said, this year it's all about the Lakers and the Clippers, in the West. And then on top of that, like I said, you got to throw Portland and players, teams like that in there too, because I'm not sure they can even beat Portland. I'm not sure if Utah can beat Portland in a 7-game series. Not the way, Dame Doll's playing anyway. So, I mean, and then when he gets his other pieces back, I mean, it's really going to be tough to beat them in general. So, I mean, it's, when you look at it, I don't know. Utah is just in a losing battle to me. They're just stuck on an island. They look like this really, really good team juggernaut, but people are not even caring about their record. Because when analysts and all those, when they name the top teams, they pretty much just name, like I said, Lakers, Clippers, 76ers, Nets. And that's pretty much where it is. So if you're outside of that, I mean, that's 4 teams. So I guess if you had to go a top 5, they probably would actually throw in, maybe Portland. Like I said, Portland's number 4, in the West right now, even when they're not even at full strength. So like I said, when you look at that, Utah just doesn't fit in that realm with those teams. And, if anybody feels any indifferent about that, like I said, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? This is just my take on it. So, like I said, leave your comments in the comment section. I have no problem with, whatever comments you choose to leave. I'm definitely, willing to, engage with you and stuff like that. But, let me know what you think about Utah Jazz. Cause me personally, I'm not really sold on them. I mean, I respect what they're doing right now, but, it's just not, good enough for me because I don't really see it being long term with it. And I don't see this carrying over in the playoffs where they could do it against really good premier teams. Now, the first round, they draw a team like, let's say, the Mavericks or Utah. Not Utah. If they draw like a team like the Mavericks or the Phoenix Suns or something like that, do I think they could beat teams like that in the first round? Of course I think they can. So, but I think second round is pretty much where it stops with them, depending on who they get in the first round, actually. Because I think if they got the Warriors or something like that, I think that would be a dogfight, honestly. Because, Steph Curry, man, I wouldn't want to see him in a 7-game series, not the way he's playing right now. So I think it kind of depends who they draw in the first round. So, but we'll see exactly how it goes. It's like I said, we haven't even hit All-Star break. Playoffs is not near us yet. So, we'll see exactly how this team pans out and they can maintain that number 1 seed because the Clippers and Lakers, they're coming for it. And the fact that they're coming for it, you better secure it as much as you can. Because if you don't, I promise you, one of them is going to take it. And when they do, they're not going to give it back. The only thing that Utah can probably hope for if they do lose that number 1 seed by, later on in the season is that they got the tiebreaker over one of them teams. And they got the tiebreaker over the Clippers, I think. So, but they actually play the Lakers tonight. So, that'll be a big, game for them, big test, because I'm pretty sure LeBron's going to come out and try to just, make an example out of them just to prove to everybody he doesn't need this rest that everybody claiming that he needs and all this other stuff. So LeBron might have a 40-point game tonight, and I wouldn't be surprised. So Utah shouldn't be either. So we'll see exactly how the game plays out and how the dice falls. But as of right now, like I said, I'm just not really sold on them. If you are, great. More power to you, but less power to me when it comes to Utah, because I'm just not seeing the the development of the team in a way where they can do this in the playoffs, because I just don't think they can. I think they're a great regular season team this year. I think they're a big surprise to a lot of people, but I think that's all it's going to be. They were a surprise team that had a really great record, and I think it's going to end in the playoffs, pretty badly. So, like I said, that's my take on it. Leave any comments about this in the comment section, and hey, you already know. Until next time.